This is the Telemetry Transportation Daily for June 6, 2025, and I'm Sam Abuel-Samad, Vice President of Market Research for Telemetry. Back in 2021 and 22, industries of all sorts got an extremely painful lesson about what happens when there's too much concentration of production, as seemingly everyone globally ran out of semiconductors at the same time. For the auto industry, this meant dramatically scaling back production and raising prices. Automakers began a process of trying to diversify supply chains to provide more resilience against disruptions, whether they're caused by natural disasters or geopolitics. Unfortunately, an ecosystem that took decades to evolve to where it is also takes a long time to unwind. We're now beginning to see the same thing play out again, and perhaps on an even larger scale. Thanks to Donald Trump's war on global trade, China has decided to push back in a more strategic way than the blunt hammer of increased tariffs. China has imposed major restrictions on the export of rare earth magnets. Export permits for raw rare earth metals have become much more difficult to get, but finished products can be exported relatively freely. However, since the value of those motors, actuators, and other electrical devices is much higher than the raw materials, those in the U.S. that need to use them will pay substantially more in tariffs. Contrary to the name, rare earth metals are actually not rare at all. In fact, they are extremely abundant in the Earth's crust. However, unlike ores such as gold or iron, they are not concentrated but are instead dispersed throughout the crust. China has installed much of the world capacity for processing these metals and thus largely cornered the market for magnets that are used in many consumer devices. In a car, this may include motors for power steering, window actuators, seats, alternators, as well as traction motors for hybrids and EVs. Without these magnets, auto production may nearly grind to a halt. In 2021, GM announced a partnership with MP Materials to produce rare earth magnets in Texas, and that plant is due to start production later this year. But one plant is not enough. Industrial and trade policy is nuanced and takes time to effect change. The administration in Washington is likely to cause an incredible amount of damage to the U.S. economy with its erratic bull-in-a-China-shop approach. The desire to bring more manufacturing back to the U.S. is laudable, but it will take a much more thoughtful and patient approach to make it a reality. Thanks for listening.